So when you will discuss about the JavaScript, right? So first of all, you have to understand what is a JavaScript. We have already discussed multiple times. So JavaScript is a dynamic computer programming language actually. And now what is it actually? The term is dynamic. So let's suppose if you're gonna create some variable, just you don't have to worry about the declaration of that variable. Where you want to use some variable, directly you can initialize those variable and you can simply use. And you can also change the data type of those variable as well if your programming language is a dynamic. But in case of static, you would not be able to change the data type of those variable. Let's take an example. If we have assigned a one variable, and what type of variable I'm talking about, let's suppose if we have assigned a is equal to 10, the earlier, okay, after that you can also assign a is equal to string as well. Okay, so this is a dynamic programming language. In case of static programming language, if you have assigned a one time that particular 10 is an integer, a is an integer, you would not be assigned a different data type into the same variable. That will be a static programming language. And the example of the static is C and the C++ and the many more. Okay. So now the point is, let's suppose if you will discuss about the more about the JavaScript. Okay, so you can simply write a JavaScript code a two-way. You can simply write a client-side JavaScript, and you can also write the server-side JavaScript. Okay, so if you will discuss about the client-side JavaScript, okay, one you will discuss about the client-side JavaScript. So you can simply change most common form of the language. Okay, so because when you will write a JavaScript code, your JavaScript code from the server, it will send from the server to the client side, and your JavaScript code will be execute at the client side in your client browser. Okay, to execute the JavaScript code, you need a one interpreter engine, right? Because each and every programming language used any compiler or interpreter. So now the point is, just when you're gonna write a JavaScript code, okay, you need to interpret that particular code, because JavaScript is an interpreter programming language, right? This is not a compiler language. In case of compiler, first of all, you have to write your code. Once you have successfully write your code, just you have to compile your whole code, and when you have to execute your code, you will get the output. But in case of JavaScript, just this is an interpreter programming language. It will interpret line by line. Even if you have write a one single line in your program, you would be able to interpret your programming code as well. Okay, and if you want to interpret your code using the JavaScript code, then you need a one engine. Okay, and that particular engine will be inbuilt in your browsers. Okay, each and every browser have a different engine. If you will discuss about the Mozilla or Google Chrome, okay, so in Google Chrome you will find out the V8 engine, right? The default engine name it's used by the V8. If you will discuss about the Internet Explorer, so each and every browser have a different engine. In Internet Explorer, you will find out the Chakra. Okay, in Mozilla Firefox, you will find out the Spider Monkey. Okay, so there's a different type of engine you will find out, and all these engines have been used to interpret your JavaScript code. Okay, so when you're gonna write your JavaScript code, just I'm gonna use any one of them browsers to interpret your code. Okay, and to write your JavaScript code, just you can simply use a any IDE, isolated development environment. Either you can simply write your JavaScript code using the Notepad as well, but in case of Notepad, your syntax will not be highlighted. Okay, you will not get the tab completions there. So that type of thing you will face in case of normal Notepad. That's why I would like to recommend to use an IDE to write your JavaScript code. If you want to execute your code, you can simply use any one of them browser. Either you can simply use a Safari as well. Okay, in case of Safari, you have used a JavaScript core engine. Okay, that this is an engine name you have used inside the Safari, used by the Mac OS. So there's a different type of engine, guys. Now what browser you are using, okay, now it means you can simply create a static web pages. You can simply create a dynamically HTML content as well using the JavaScript. Now there's a multiple thing you have to understand. What are the advantages of the JavaScript? Okay, the one you will using a JavaScript at a client side, so this is a less server interactions. Okay, what does it mean? Let's suppose if you are trying to fill a form, okay, just you can simply validate a user input before sending to the page off to the server. because if a user will give you the one valid input, username and the password, if a user will type a 4-character password, okay, it will not type, it should be type greater than 8-character, right? Just before sending to the server, just you can simply validate your form at the client side. Okay, it will take a less server interaction. Okay, this saves your server traffic. You need a less hardware before, if you are not using a JavaScript there, which means less load on your server. Just you can simply use your server for more request as well. Okay, that's the this is the one advantage of the JavaScript. Okay, you have to understand all the advantage in brief as well. And the second example, to intermediate feedback to the visitor. Okay, they don't have to wait for the page reload to see if they have forget to enter something instantly, because you have already written a one code. Okay, and that particular code you have already sent to the user browser. Okay, and the that particular JavaScript code will be executed at the browser side, at the client side. Okay, though they don't have to wait for a page reload instantly. If they have done some mistake using the Ajax, just you can simply type anything here, because you are writing invalid email address. Please check it out your email. That's type of information you can simply do this type of property. The increased intransitivity, okay, my bad. So just you can simply create an interface to react when the users hour and the with the mouse or the activity by the keyboard. And you can simply create a richer interface as well, because when you're gonna use a JavaScript in your UI, okay, you can simply do these type of thing as well. You can simply drag and drop your elements, components. Okay, when you're gonna use a JavaScript there, if you have work inside the keep notes of the Google, okay, thus you can simply move your particular element there. If you're gonna drag and drop some properties, you will be able to use those properties using the JavaScript. So this type of interface called the rich interface. Okay, and now visitor love this type of interface when a visitor will use this type of interface there. Okay, so this is the advantage of the JavaScript. Let's move forward to the syntax of the JavaScript, guys. How you would be able to write your JS. Okay, now the point is, let's suppose if you want to write your code. Okay, just you have where you're gonna write your code. Just in case of HTML file, okay, there's a multiple method where you're gonna write your code. Okay, you can simply use a internal CSS, my bad, you can simply use a internal JS. Okay, you can simply use a inline JS, and you can also use a external JS. The point is, let's suppose if you want to write a internal JavaScript, just you need a script tag for that in case of HTML document, right? Inside the script tag, just you can simply write your JavaScript code there. Where you're gonna place your script tag, so you will place your script tag under the head tag. Okay, there you're gonna write your code. To understand the JavaScript code, just I have created one file, index.html. Okay, inside the index.html, just I'm gonna enter the boilerplate of my HTML using the exclamation mark. Okay, and now this particular exclamation mark is using a Amit abbreviation, and now this will give you the boilerplate of the HTML. Just not to worry about this, just let it be. And now comes to the body tag. Okay, and now just you can simply create your script here. Okay, and now you can simply store your script tag at the bottom of your body. Either you can simply store your script tag as well, okay, inside the head tag. It's your choice, okay, where you're gonna place your tag there. So what I'm gonna do here, so let's suppose I'm gonna remove and I'm gonna place my script tag at the bottom of my body tag. And here just I'm gonna write a one very basic thing here to understand. So let's suppose what I'm gonna do, document. I will explain all these things, guys, don't worry. What is this actually, what is a document? So I'm gonna write a one very basic thing. I will write hi all from JS. That's a very basic syntax what I have done. Just now what I'm going to do, just I would like to open this web page using my browser. For that, just I need to open my web browser, my Visual Studio Code again. Okay, because my extension one is not loaded. I have installed a one extension to enhance the property of my Visual Studio Code. The extension name is Go Live. You can also install this extension. What it will do for you, it will, whenever you're gonna save your web page, okay, you don't have to reload your web page again and again. It will be automatically reload your web pages. Okay, so just look at this. When I'm gonna open this, Go Live, so it will open this particular web page in your browser. Okay, and you are able to see hi all from JS. Okay, this particular statement you have written using the JavaScript code. Now the point what we are trying to understand, okay, this is a one very basic syntax to where you want to place your JavaScript code, okay, and what's the syntax to using this. So just you have to create a one script tag. Inside the script tag, you can simply write your JavaScript statement, and you would be able to see your JavaScript code on top of your browser. Okay, that's how it works. Where you're gonna place your HTML file, where you're gonna place your code inside the HTML file, you can simply place your code into the head section. You can also place your code into the body section. Okay, so you can simply place your JavaScript code into a different method. Either you can simply create a one external file, you can simply include that particular external file under the head section or the body section. It's your choice. So there is a multiple method to place your JavaScript file.